Okay, good evening there, folks. So, something a little unusual. Today we have an unboxing of Hobby 2000's ARADO 172nd 234 jet bomber. As we know, obviously Germany really started with the whole our jet thing in service towards the end of the war. The ARADO in particular being kind of famous, obviously, for being stolen by Eric Brown and brought back here so we could take a look at it. Not my kit. This actually belongs to a friend of mine who dropped it by specifically so that I could do an unboxing for YouTube. So quick thanks to our Danny, part of the group. Again, as per normal, of course, Hobby 2000 reboxes things. This is, in actual fact, Dragon's 172nd kit from the mid-90s. So it should be half decent. We'll take a look. So, their usual really crisp, nice, simple box. On the outside here, we have a little blurb about the aircraft itself. So this is the our twin-engine version. Again, there was a slightly different variant that had 4. I think it had a slightly different number, but it's the same aircraft. The usual health and safety on the other side there, and nothing much there. So it's kit number 72040 on the back. So let's take a quick look. So, what do we have here? So, very quick, we have instructions and colour callouts. We have what looks like a single bag of parts. Then in the very bottom, we have the all-important paint mask, which is quite important for all that glazing at the front there. A tiny, and I'll take a look at that first, very tiny little piece of etch for some aerials. And decals. Again, it's being 172nd, they don't go too mad, just the basics. But they look quite nice, printed by Cartographs, so now we can look at those. Everything's here, including the obvious markings that may or may not be used by your own decision. And there. Right, let's take a quick look, as usual, at the instructions first. So we've got sort of A4 height, but now it's like a menu. We've got the breakdown of the parts just here. We have colour callouts in AK Interactive, Alclad 2, Ammo, Hataka, Mr. Collar, and Tamiya. So, all good fun there. Looks very simple, because like the other Hobby 2000 kits, just unfolds and away you go. So starting not in a cockpit, but with the new nose gear assembly. So we're building up this little section here for the nose wheel before we then go into the cockpit. That's then attached to the bottom of the cockpit, but it looks like that just there. Although not actually direct. Oh, that is actually. So you're sort of starting with the cockpit. You're starting with the cockpit tool upside down. So bits going on there. More details going in just there. Looks fairly simple. Front closing, so that'll complete the front end of the aircraft. We've then got main gear being built up and going into the sides. It's not particularly clear about those. Those are the two sides, each one. Main fuselage going together with the bulkhead here. Tailplanes going on. I was leaving towards the end, but there you go. Then some glazing going on. And these unusual things here. I think they were like life raft or something. I think I'm not too sure. Someone can let me know what those were for. Then we've got the engines going together and the main wings. We have the front fuselage of the cockpit going on, and there we go. It's got you putting like gear doors on at this point. I'll be doing that later on, but there you go. The other wing, putting together the other version. That's backwards, isn't it? Because they aim forward like it shows there. Check references. And some thinner aerials going on, and that's it. You're done. And then we have these really nice colour callouts here. This is one of, there's two different boxings of this with some very subtle differences. This is the end of war version with the dark green camo, and there's an early version which the main scheme is more like this in fancy camo. So let's take a look. Let's have a look at the kit itself. So as I say, mid-90s Dragon. But in all honesty, it looks pretty simple to me. I'm not seeing a way into this bag, so let's have a quick look. So yeah, single bag. Be very careful pulling these parts out. There we go. That's clear parts there. So we have a small sprue here with those little pods going under the wings. Looks like a gun pod as well. And some smaller bits and pieces, some smaller arrows. They all look quite nice. Some nice detail on those pods there. They look pretty cool. Still don't know what they do, so someone let me know. But I am potentially seeing some difficulty getting those parts out, to be honest. Those are very thin and very small, and those sprue gates aren't particularly small for those parts. Should be okay with those if you're very, very careful. But not too bad. Sim worse. We then have this part here, this sprue here, sorry, which has mainly the wings, which all look quite nice, quite sharp. Some nice engraved detail on those. Nice little rivet detail on those hatches just there. Detail for the front of those pods. Not sure what's going on with that one. We have detail on the wheels. They look really quite nice for the scale. Better than expected, to be honest. We have the inside of the cockpit. Just suitably tiny. That's my index finger next to it. Haven't got much around to kind of gauge scale, but I've got a 2032 battery, which gives you an idea of sort of sizes we're talking about here. Engine pods. Oh, front of engine, sorry. Look like they need a little bit of cleanup. We've got a tiny little bit of flash around there, but they look kind of nice. They've definitely got something down there I can't quite see. Again, no nice detail on the underside of the wings. So yeah, back to the engine pods. They look quite nice. Looks like we've got a very simple instrument panel just there. We've got these here, which again are the sides of the cockpit. It does look like we've got a tiny little bit of a dimple there, but there's also some detail there, so you can't really feel it. Just kind of annoying. On the back side, I'm not really seeing anything of any interest. Again, smaller parts that are doubled up. Oh, cool. Okay, so that's the rear end of the engines. They look cool. So things like the wheel and stuff, all the location tabs are off the part. Why it needs 4 though? You're going to lose quite a lot of that detail. You're going to have to rescribe. Again, all this is going to be covered. We've got a little bit here that probably needs sanding off. Just here to make fit a little bit better. But again, we can just go right in there with a big sanding stick. You'll be all right. That's quite nice. And then finally, a sprue here with the fuselage sides, which look quite nice, kind of simple. We've got all the tiny parts. We can try and get out here. Again, some very small, tiny little aerials, etc. Little tiny thin legs. It looks like sort of fuel tanks. They're a bit chunky, but still, the main wheels, they look good. Liking them. See, they've only got 2 location tabs. Never mind, the other side of the fuselage. And the tailplane is just there. They look quite nice. This is the main gear bay. It's pretty simple, and you do have some injection marks there, which isn't great, but again, at this scale, you're not really going to see too much. Unfortunately, there is injection marks on the inside of the doors as well. So we are going to have some cleanup for some of the parts, but yeah, again, 1/72. To give you an idea of sort of a scale, these are, I mean, this is a twin-engine jet bomber, but this is a small aircraft. My hands are not ridiculously big, so we know obviously the front cockpit will add maybe about that much. So this fuselage part here is about 5.5 inches long, about 14 centimeters. So I imagine that the completed beastie will probably be about 6.5 inches long, something like that. So for a twin engine bomber, actually really quite a small aircraft. Oh, nearly forgot the all important clear parts. Very, very important for a kit like this. So we have a small piece here which is for the top of the fuselage, which looks really nice and clear. A little bit there gets added, and some light pieces. So again, you can see obviously, you know, the goes of my finger through that. That's very, very clear. A little thick, but again, 1 cm, that's perfectly good. And again, the very front there, that looks crystal clear. Some lovely linings there. I mean, that looks absolutely sweet. It really does. And some smaller parts there. Where did I see the chair? Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be quite visible. The chair there is quite nice, but it doesn't have any... looks like a big armchair. Looks like some kind of Star Trek. It doesn't have any straps or anything on there, so you are probably going to have to add them, unfortunately. But even at the scale, it's really going to take very, very little. Because it looks like you can see quite a lot through that nice canopy. I'm liking that. Loving that. Right, well. Hobby 2000's reboxing of the Dragon ARADO 234 in 1 second. Lovely little kit. Heartily look forward to seeing what Dan can do building up. And I have just been told as well that Hobby 2000 are going to be releasing a 1/48th version, again, of the 2 boxings, but using Hasegawa's plastic. So I'm going to look forward to getting hold of one of those and opening up for you guys and seeing what it looks like. As always, like, share, please comment. You always like to see how things look and what you want to see more of. So yeah, looking for a slightly more unusual sort of Luft 46 type aircraft, even though again they were in service. Go and get one. They look nice. See you again, guys. Bye.